Well, good morning, everybody. I just want to say that I am really, honored and privileged to be here. And I did not realize until I got here and actually saw the program what an incredible conference this is. This is really, truly one of the most amazing lineups and programs I've ever seen dealing with plant-based nutrition and issues. And I just, by way of transparency, should tell you guys, I'm definitely a Christian, and I take a lot of my life's lessons from the Bible. And I'm thinking of when Jesus met the woman at the well, and they sat down and had a talk, and when he was finally able to convince her that he was, in fact, the Messiah, she went and brought everybody in the town back to meet him. And I think tonight you guys need to go home and drag everybody you know back to this conference. I mean, pull a gun on them if you have to. If you look at the lineup of speakers that they have, if you guys had to pay for this would be $5,000 to $10,000. But it's absolutely free. And I'm telling you, don't miss out on this blessing. Don't let your loved ones miss out on this blessing. So, having said that, what am I going to talk to you guys about today? I am going to talk about the why of being plant-based. Now, I am honored to say that it is an honor and a privilege to follow Brenda Davis, because she does some of the most incredible, amazing, complete, and accessible lectures on the value and benefits of being plant-based for our health. And over the course of these 10 days, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to talk to you about how being plant-based is better for you health-wise, how it's better for the environment, but that still leaves the question of why. Why is it that being plant-based is better for us? Because I'm sure that you, like me, when you were in school, you were taught that human beings are omnivores, meaning that we are supposed to be eating a mixture of animal and plant foods. And if that's true, then why is it that eliminating part of what we're supposed to be eating is better for us? Well, it's because, like Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca, we've been misinformed. We are not omnivores. We are, by design and physiology and even our psychology, strict plant eaters, and that's what I hope to prove to you today. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll start you off with a quote of mine. People have been so thoroughly brainwashed that they actually think eating pieces of dead, rotting corpses is somehow healthy. It's just crazy. It's a corpse, ladies and gentlemen. It may not be in a casket, but it's a corpse. So, again, title of the talk, Are Humans Designed to Eat Meat? I started all my lectures off with a quote from God's Word. This is from the book of Genesis. He says, "You shall eat the plants of the field." So, why is this topic important? It's important because experts estimate that up to 80% of the major disease and premature death that we see in Western countries every year could be prevented by making major changes in our diet and lifestyle. And again, just think about that for a moment, 80%. If I were to ask for a show of hands, which I really can't see because the lights are in my eyes, but if I were to ask you to raise your hands if you know of someone who's had a heart attack or had cancer or has diabetes or who has died from these diseases, I'm willing to bet every single hand in this room would go up. And I'm sure many of you, like me, have lost loved ones before their time to these dreadful diseases. Well, if you think that 80% of those people, or 80% of the suffering that they've endured, could have been avoided. That is just a really sobering statistic. And so we need to understand that, yes, being plant-based will help us avoid these things, but we also need to understand why. And it's also important to understand why, because it puts greater impetus and a greater moral underpinning on the need to change our diets. Now, we've been told we need to change our diets for our health. Brenda mentioned how important it is to save the earth. Lots of people are talking to you about the impact of animal-based agriculture on climate change and global warming. It is the #1 driver of climate change and global warming, which is why I tell people all the time, if you drive a Prius and still eat meat, you need more fiber in your diet. If you understand what I'm saying. And so the question is, why is that true? Well, it's true because we are plant eaters, but when you understand that we are plant eaters, then it means it is completely immoral for us to be killing animals and destroying our planet when we shouldn't be doing that in the first place. You know, it's one thing if we're supposed to be doing it, but we say, you know what, that's causing problems, so I'm gonna change because it's better for everybody. That's like, you know, let's say you're having a party and it's 11 o'clock at night and your neighbor comes over and says, hey, you're keeping me up, and you say, okay, well, you know what, it's my house, I have a right to have a party, but since it's disturbing you, I'm going to shut the music off. No, this is not it. This is a case where the city ordinance says no parties, okay? So we should not be eating animals in the first place, which means that raising animals for human consumption and destroying the earth to do it is completely unjustifiable and immoral.